Welcome, dear listener, to a journey across timeless myths and eternal echoes of wisdom. In the heart of ancient tales, one goddess rises as a beacon of clarity and peace. Her name is Athena, the guardian of wisdom, justice, and the guiding flame of reason. She is not a figure of destruction, but a symbol of balance, light, and everlasting guidance. From the sacred olive tree to the whispers of philosophers, her essence flows through time. Every act of insight, every moment of harmony, carries the gentle mark of her spirit. Her story is not just bound in temples, stone statues, or ancient scrolls of forgotten lore. It lives in the choices of mortals, in their courage, fairness, and pursuit of true knowledge. Through this tale, we will follow her eternal journey as guardian and guide across the ages. You will hear her presence in wisdom shared, in peace restored, and in dreams that inspire. So let us begin this story, not of battles, but of light, vision, and the power of wisdom. Athena waits at the threshold, eternal and patient, ready to walk with us once more. In the beginning, when the heavens were young, a miracle stirred within the heart of Olympus. The world was still wrapped in mystery, and silence echoed between mountains and seas. From this silence came a spark of brilliance, a light destined to become eternal wisdom. This light took form, radiant and pure, and from it, Athena came into being. Her birth was unlike any other, not through pain or shadow, but through divine wonder. She emerged in brilliance, her spirit filled with clarity, her eyes shining with endless foresight. The heavens trembled not with fear, but with awe, for wisdom had found its voice. Athena's first breath was harmony, and her first step was balance across the cosmos. Where others clashed in pride or strength, she offered a vision of reason and light. The gods looked upon her, not as a rival, but as a guide among their kin. She carried no weapon of rage, only the radiant presence of thought and understanding. Her birth was a gift, not only to Olympus, but to mortals who sought guidance. From her radiance, knowledge began to flow like water, nourishing the roots of creation. She became the promise that intelligence would walk hand in hand with compassion. Mortals who gazed toward the stars felt a gentle voice stirring within their hearts. This voice was hers, whispering that wisdom was not distant, but alive among them. She was not thunder nor storm, but a dawn breaking gently across the sky. The birth of Athena marked a new order, where light of mind overcame the fog. From that day, the world knew that guidance was eternal, never fading, always near. Athena's arrival was celebrated by the gods with silence and reverence, not with noise. For they knew her power was subtle, not of force, but of infinite vision. She became the guardian of thought, the eternal lamp in the dark corridors of time. Her presence was not a command, but an invitation to rise above shadows of fear. Mortals would later tell stories of her origin, shaping them into myth and song. Yet at the heart of every tale lies the same truth, gentle and enduring. She was born of light, and she became light, carried through centuries and souls. Athena's birth was not an ending, but the first breath of a timeless journey. She was the spark that turned silence into dialogue, confusion into clarity, night into dawn. From Olympus to the farthest shore, her essence spread like ripples in still water. The gods honored her, but it was humanity who would cherish her most deeply. For it was to mortals she gave her greatest gift, the courage to think and dream. The wisdom of Athena did not rest in books or temples of marble stone. It lived in the pulse of every heart that longed for knowledge and justice. Her coming into the world was more than a divine tale. It was a promise. A promise that reason and kindness would always have a guardian to protect them. As she stood radiant at the dawn of her life, the world shifted forevermore. Athena became not only a goddess, but an eternal guardian of wisdom's flame. Her birth, luminous and serene, remains the opening chapter of a story unending. When Athena looked upon the earth, her gaze fell upon a land by the shining sea. This land was young and restless, its people searching for identity, hope, and divine favor. Many gods desired this place, each wishing to leave their eternal mark upon its soil. Poseidon, lord of the deep waters, struck the ground with his mighty trident. From the earth burst a horse, strong and swift, a gift of speed and conquest. The people admired its strength, but wondered if such power could bring lasting peace. Then Athena stepped forward, serene, carrying not thunder, not fire, but gentle wisdom. She touched the earth, and from her hand sprang the first olive tree. Its branches stretched skyward, its roots sinking deep into the soil of the land. The people gathered, marveling at its leaves, its fruit, its enduring gift of life. Athena spoke softly, telling them the olive would bring food, oil, light, and hope. Her gift was not for war, but for peace, prosperity, and the rhythm of living. The people saw that this tree promised more than strength. It promised a future. They chose Athena as their guardian, their eternal protector, their goddess of the city. And so the city took her name, Athens, shining beneath her eternal watchful gaze. The olive tree became more than a plant. It became a symbol of resilience. It stood through storms, through ages, through the shifting tides of history and time. Its fruit nourished bodies, its oil fueled lamps, its wood-shaped homes and temples. Through every branch, the people felt the breath of Athena guiding their destiny. The city grew, not in fear, but in wisdom, not in chaos, but in harmony. Athena walked in their stories, in their laws, in the quiet strength of their hearts. Her presence was seen in scholars at their scrolls, in farmers tending their fields. She was felt in artisans carving marble, in poets weaving words of eternal grace. The Parthenon rose upon the hill, not just of stone, but of devotion unending. It was not only a temple, but a living testament to her enduring spirit. Every dawn, the sun touched its columns, as though blessing Athena once again. The people of Athens thrived beneath her protection, their lives woven with her wisdom. They believed her olive tree would never fade, never fall, never leave their side. Its roots grew deeper, like her spirit, unshaken by storms, unbroken by passing years. Travelers from distant lands marveled at Athens, a city guided by wisdom's light. They carried tales of Athena's gift, spreading her influence beyond the city's gates. Her presence inspired not conquest, but unity, not pride, but the pursuit of truth. In the marketplace, her name was whispered with reverence by traders and teachers alike. In the quiet of night, prayers rose to her, thanking her for peace and guidance. The goddess was not distant. She was near in every olive tree across the land. She was the soil beneath their feet, the wind in the groves, the calm of dawn. The bond between Athena and Athens was unbreakable, woven into the soul of the city. Her olive tree stood as a promise. Wisdom would endure longer than fleeting power. It was a covenant of peace, resilience, and light in the heart of human life. Athens became not merely a city, but a symbol of the goddess who gave it life. Her gift, rooted deep, ensured that her spirit would guide humanity for eternity. The sacred olive tree remains her eternal sign, a guardian of peace and wisdom. In the stillness of the early dawn, Athena's wisdom wove itself into the fabric of life. She was not only a guardian of cities, but a patient teacher to hands and minds. Her spirit moved quietly through workshops, guiding artisans as they shaped wood and stone. Every chisel strike, every brush stroke, carried her whisper of discipline and clarity. Athena was the weaver, and in her loom threads of knowledge formed endless patterns. She showed mortals that skill was more than craft. It was harmony between heart and mind. Each thread joined another, building a tapestry that reflected balance, beauty, and endurance. The loom became a symbol of her presence, uniting patience, creativity, and divine order. Those who listened to her guidance found their work infused with grace and meaning. Farmers sowed seeds with care, feeling her wisdom in the rhythm of the seasons. Potters shaped vessels not just for use, but as silent carriers of beauty and story. Scribes bent over their scrolls, guided by her unseen hand, preserving words for generations. Athena's wisdom spread not through commands, but through inspiration, quiet yet enduring. She taught that every act of creation was a mirror of the eternal mind. To weave was to connect, to shape was to honor, to write was to remember. In every small act of labor, there was a divine echo of her presence. Athena's loom extended beyond the threads of fabric into the fabric of society. She guided lawmakers to weave justice with fairness, binding communities in unity. She helped teachers weave curiosity with patience, binding knowledge to youthful hearts. She inspired healers to weave care with wisdom, binding health to compassion. Through her, humanity learned that life itself was a tapestry, woven with countless threads. The strong threads held the weak, the bright threads gave light to the dark. Every life mattered, every effort had meaning, every hand contributed to the whole. Athena's weavings were not just patterns, but lessons about resilience and interconnectedness. The olive branches, the marble temples, the songs of poets, all threads of her great design. In dreams, she appeared with a spindle of golden thread, weaving futures for mortals. She taught them that destiny was not fixed, but woven by choices of the heart. The loom never ceased, and her hands never tired, for wisdom was eternal motion. The people of Athens saw her presence in the order of their lives each day. The hum of looms in their homes became like prayers offered to their goddess. Every woven cloth carried not only warmth, but the blessing of endurance and care. Athena's gift of weaving was not for luxury, but for understanding the rhythm of life. The patterns spoke silently, balance, patience, and the beauty of harmony in diversity. Travelers who carried Athenian cloth to distant lands also carried whispers of her spirit. Her wisdom spread like thread, binding nations, cultures, and generations in shared human spirit. Athena, the eternal weaver, was more than a goddess. She was the pattern itself. She showed that knowledge is not kept in one mind, but shared like threads in a loom. Each lesson, each creation, each discovery was a new color woven into her tapestry. As the sun set over Athens, the looms continued, echoing her endless weaving. And in that sound, mortals felt the truth. Wisdom is not a gift to hold. It is a thread passed onward, woven again, never ending, always alive. Through weaving, Athena gave humanity a vision of eternity in the fabric of time. In every age, mortals found themselves standing on the edge of conflict and uncertainty. Ambition clashed with pride, and pride with fear, stirring storms in the hearts of nations. Leaders often raised their voices in anger, blinded by the thirst for triumph and control. Yet in those moments, Athena appeared not with a sword, but with the voice of reason. She stood between them, her gaze calm, her presence steady like a mountain at dawn. Athena did not silence their arguments, but guided them to see beyond the noise. She taught that true strength lay not in conquest, but in the wisdom of restraint. Her words were like a river, carving paths of clarity through the hardest stone of pride. Kings who sought her counsel discovered that victory without harmony was emptiness and ruin. Generals who dreamed of glory learned that peace preserved more than war could ever grant. Athena's guidance was not thunderous. It was a light revealing what anger tried to hide. She reminded mortals that every choice written in conflict left marks on the soul of humanity. And so, she became the unseen hand, guiding decisions toward fairness, balance, and endurance. In the courts of Athens, her influence shaped judgments made with clarity and compassion. She whispered to lawmakers that justice was not vengeance, but the pursuit of truth and harmony. In the minds of leaders, she planted the seed of foresight, urging them to think of tomorrow. When disputes arose, she was the calm voice asking, "What future will this choice create?" Her shield was not raised to strike, but to reflect truth, dispelling illusions of power. Mortals learned that when anger clouded judgment, Athena's wisdom could clear the skies within. She taught them to measure not the gain of the moment, but the cost of eternity. Her presence turned battlefields into councils, swords into words, and rage into patient dialogue. Even when wars could not be avoided, she inspired strategies that spared rather than destroyed. She showed that the finest victory was not over an enemy, but over one's own pride. Her counsel echoed through history, remembered in stories of rulers who chose peace over conquest. Athena's voice lingered in the hearts of those who sought not domination, but understanding. She revealed that reason is a shield stronger than bronze, and fairness sharper than any blade. In the silence after disputes, her presence was felt like the first calm after a storm. The people of Athens honored her, not for battles fought, but for peace preserved. They built halls of council, where leaders gathered to speak under her watchful spirit. In these places, decisions shaped by fairness carried the mark of Athena's eternal guidance. She showed humanity that wisdom was the compass leading them through the storms of conflict. Without her, anger would have consumed cities, and fear would have ruled the earth. But with her, light found its way into the darkest corners of human ambition. Her guidance became a gentle law, written not on stone, but within the human heart. To listen to Athena was to hear a call to balance, patience, and responsibility. Her presence reminded mortals that peace is not weakness, but the highest form of strength. And even now, her spirit lingers wherever dialogue replaces conflict and reason conquers pride. For Athena is the guiding light in times of conflict, eternal, patient, and ever near. The dawn of wisdom often arrived quietly, not with fanfare, but with gentle sparks in human hearts. Athena walked unseen through libraries, temples, and open markets, where knowledge began to bloom. She was the whisper that guided a scholar's hand as they traced symbols on fragile scrolls. She inspired artisans to blend beauty with purpose, crafting tools that served both mind and spirit. Every corner of Athens carried her imprint, from marble columns to the simplest clay vessel. Children learning letters felt her encouragement, their eyes alight with the promise of discovery. Teachers, in their humble voices, echoed her patience, shaping the future with every spoken word. Knowledge was her gift, but so was the humility to use it for the good of all. She reminded mortals that wisdom without compassion became pride, and pride turned to ruin. Her temples became schools where learning was not worship, but a dialogue with the eternal. Scribes recorded not battles, but questions, preserving curiosity as a treasure greater than gold. Philosophers gathered in shaded courtyards, their debates fueled by her unseen presence of clarity. They spoke not to win, but to uncover the harmony hidden beneath layers of thought. Athena taught them that answers were not final. They were bridges to deeper understanding. In their voices, one could hear her guidance. Truth revealed itself to the patient mind. She urged mortals to look not only at the stars, but within themselves for direction. For every discovery in the heavens reflected the eternal search within the human spirit. Her influence stretched beyond Athens, carried by travelers to distant lands and foreign shores. Wherever knowledge was sought, her presence walked quietly, leaving footprints of enlightenment. She guided builders to raise structures of balance, where form and function lived as one. She inspired healers to blend observation with care, seeing health as harmony, not conquest. In her wisdom, even silence became a teacher, reminding mortals of the power of listening. The hum of the marketplace carried her lessons, as merchants learned fairness was true profit. Artists, too, felt her touch, shaping stories in stone and paint that spoke across centuries. They did not glorify war, but the endurance of peace, learning, and shared human dreams. Athena's voice was subtle, never forcing, only revealing paths waiting to be chosen. She believed that wisdom grew best not in fear, but in the freedom to question. And so Athens thrived, not through power, but through the blossoming of thought and reason. Generations passed, yet her teachings became a living thread woven into daily life. Farmers remembered her as they planned seasons, respecting the rhythm of earth and sky. Sailors called on her guidance when reading the winds, trusting in balance more than luck. Every act of care, patience, or fairness bore her quiet signature in the mortal realm. She reminded them that greatness was not a monument, but a legacy of shared growth. That legacy outlasted kings, outshone riches, and endured beyond the crumbling of empires. Athena's gift was not bound to a time or city, but to the human spirit itself. She revealed that wisdom is eternal, a guardian light across the ages of mankind. And so her presence lived on, as close as a thought, as near as a heartbeat. In every lesson taught, every question asked, she was there, guiding with silent strength. Through her, mortals discovered that knowledge was not the end, but the beginning of wisdom. For Athena is the eternal guardian, and her temple is built within every seeking soul. The world beyond Athens was vast, filled with distant kingdoms, voices, and stories untold. Athena's influence traveled not on wings of war, but through the quiet steps of seekers. Traders carried her lessons in their hearts, sharing ideas alongside spices, silk, and precious gems. Philosophers journeyed across seas, their words glowing with her wisdom like lanterns in the dark. Everywhere they went, they sowed seeds of thought that blossomed in unexpected places. In small villages, her voice was felt when neighbors chose dialogue over division and strife. In royal courts, her whisper reached advisors who urged rulers to weigh fairness with ambition. She was not bound to temples of marble. Her temple lived wherever truth was honored. Athena's presence became a bridge, connecting cultures that had once seemed worlds apart. She revealed that wisdom was not confined by borders, but belonged to all who sought. Mortals began to see that unity grew not from conquest, but from shared understanding. Athena guided them to discover that the language of reason was universal and eternal. In bustling harbors, merchants bartered with fairness, remembering her lessons of just exchange. On caravan roads, travelers told stories of her light guiding them through foreign deserts. Even in distant lands, where her name was unknown, her spirit was quietly recognized. She was the spark in a poet's voice, the balance in a judge's decree, the calm in a healer's hands. Athena reminded mortals that wisdom adapts, changing shape to meet the needs of every age. She taught that knowledge was not hoarded but shared, a flame passed without ever dimming. Her influence wove itself into songs, proverbs, and traditions carried across generations. Fathers taught their children patience, mothers taught them fairness, all echoing her silent counsel. In places of worship, her essence mingled with prayers for guidance and strength of spirit. She was the guardian of thought, ensuring that truth did not wither beneath shadows of fear. Athena's reach was endless, not through might, but through the endurance of her ideals. Her presence softened arrogance and turned rulers into stewards of their people's trust. She inspired alliances, not through pressure, but through the promise of lasting harmony. Every treaty, every moment of compromise bore her hidden signature of reason. Even when mortals faltered, forgetting her guidance, she waited patiently, never leaving them. For she knew that the human heart, though fragile, always longed for wisdom's light. She became the silent guardian of crossroads, where choices shaped the fate of nations. Her influence was the calm that steadied hands trembling on the edge of rash decisions. She taught that each choice carried ripples, touching lives beyond what one could see. And so, her voice guided not only kings, but shepherds, sailors, and simple dreamers. Her power was not dominance, but the quiet strength of eternal presence. Athena's wisdom traveled farther than armies, deeper than laws, higher than monuments. It became a thread uniting humanity, weaving destinies across oceans and deserts. She reminded mortals that they were one family, bound by the search for truth. Her eternal guardianship lay not in ruling, but in nurturing the soul of mankind. And wherever a mind awakened with clarity, there was her presence, alive and near. For Athena was more than a goddess of Athens. She was the guardian of all who sought. Her light was eternal, her guidance unbroken, her wisdom a bridge across all ages. And thus she walked with humanity, unseen yet ever present, the eternal guardian of thought. The passing of time brought new wonders as human curiosity reached beyond the skies above. Athena watched as mortals turned their eyes to the stars, searching for meaning in the infinite. She was present in their questions, guiding them to see not only distance, but connection. Astronomers traced constellations, and in their patterns she whispered lessons of unity and order. The cosmos became her vast temple, filled with secrets waiting for patient minds to unfold. She inspired thinkers to see that the universe was not chaos, but harmony woven in light. Every planet, every star, moved in rhythm, teaching balance to those who dared to look. Athena urged mortals to learn not only what the heavens were, but why they inspired wonder. She reminded them that awe was the first step toward wisdom, and humility its companion. In Athens, scholars gathered under the night sky, their scrolls filled with numbers and symbols. They calculated paths of stars, yet Athena urged them to also seek harmony within themselves. For the patterns of the sky reflected the patterns of the human soul, vast and unending. She taught that knowledge of the cosmos was not power, but perspective for all humankind. The stars, she revealed, did not belong to one city, one people, or one age. They belonged to everyone, uniting humanity in the shared wonder of existence itself. Through her guidance, mortals began to see that truth was infinite, never bound by time. Philosophers spoke of reason, scientists of order, poets of beauty, all echoing her wisdom. Athena smiled upon each, for she knew truth was not one voice, but a chorus. She taught that wisdom grows richer when knowledge and imagination walk hand in hand. Even the smallest discoveries were celebrated, for each revealed another piece of the eternal puzzle. Sailors read the stars at sea, trusting them as guides across dark waters and endless waves. Athena's influence steadied their hearts, reminding them that courage is born from understanding. Explorers traveled farther, not with greed, but with curiosity nurtured by her eternal presence. Each new land discovered carried her invisible touch, a reminder of balance and respect. She showed mortals that discovery was not dominion, but stewardship of the world they shared. Athena taught that true exploration was not conquest, but connection across distance and difference. In every step forward, she asked, "Will this path honor wisdom, or only vanity?" Her voice echoed in the halls of learning, in the silence of observatories, in the sea's vast winds. Athena's light illuminated the truth that progress without reflection is an empty triumph. She urged humanity to carry responsibility with every step of discovery, never forgetting compassion. Her guidance shaped not only knowledge, but the values that ensured knowledge was well used. For without wisdom, discoveries could divide, but with her counsel, they could unite. Athena's eternal guardianship grew ever stronger as mortals reached beyond their own horizons. Her presence was in every candle lit for study, every telescope raised toward the stars. In the hearts of those who dreamed of more, she was the flame that never dimmed. And so, the world moved forward, guided by her patience, her foresight, and her balance. Athena reminded mortals that the universe was vast, yet wisdom was the true infinite. She revealed that the eternal journey was not outward alone, but inward toward the soul. And in every age, in every discovery, her voice whispered, "Seek truth, live with harmony." For Athena, guardian of wisdom, remains the light that guides humanity through the ages. In every era, humanity reached a threshold where choices defined the course of generations to come. Athena walked quietly at those crossroads, her presence unseen yet deeply felt in every heart. She knew that progress brought not only hope, but also temptations that could lead astray. Mortals, eager for advancement, often risked forgetting the harmony that gave wisdom its strength. Athena whispered reminders that true growth balanced innovation with responsibility and compassion. She guided inventors to see their creations not as weapons, but as tools of connection. She urged builders to design not monuments of vanity, but spaces where people could gather. Her voice reminded leaders that power without humility only fractured the trust of their people. Athena's eternal light was not to halt progress, but to anchor it in purpose and care. She taught that knowledge alone was not wisdom, and advancement alone was not peace. Mortals who listened began to shape a future where thought and conscience moved as one. In the hands of healers, she nurtured discovery that eased suffering and restored harmony. In the voices of teachers, she planted courage to question, reflect, and seek with open minds. Her presence was in every law written with fairness, every choice made with foresight. Even in commerce, her influence urged balance, where prosperity was shared, not hoarded. Athena taught that wealth without compassion turned to dust, but fairness created true abundance. She reminded humanity that wisdom was the shield against greed, fear, and division. Her guardianship stretched across oceans, deserts, and forests, wherever mortals dreamed of better lives. Athena's counsel appeared in unexpected ways, through stories, through symbols, through sudden clarity of thought. A child's question, a poet's verse, a mother's teaching, all bore her eternal spark. She was not worshipped through fear, but honored in every act of kindness and truth. Her voice was not thunder, but a quiet reminder to choose patience over haste. Mortals who paused to listen discovered balance waiting like a hidden path beneath their feet. She urged them to see that progress without heart led only to emptiness and loss. Athena guided rulers to measure their legacy, not by monuments, but by harmony preserved. She showed them that justice carried greater strength than conquest, and dialogue outshone pride. Her wisdom shaped not only cities, but the very spirit of humanity's collective soul. She was the eternal mirror reflecting what mortals might become if they chose with care. Athena did not erase human error, but offered light to help them rise after falling. She believed that even in mistakes, lessons could grow, leading to deeper understanding. Her guardianship was not control, but companionship, walking alongside mortals in every new age. She was the voice within, steady and timeless, asking, "What future will this choice build?" Athena's presence bound humanity to their highest selves, urging them never to forget balance. And so, across generations, her wisdom became a thread, linking past, present, and what lies ahead. She remained eternal not in temples of stone, but in choices guided by compassion and clarity. Athena's legacy lived wherever fairness triumphed, wherever kindness healed, wherever wisdom led the way. And in the silence of thought, her voice still whispers, "Seek truth, honor balance, choose wisely." For Athena is not only a goddess of the past, but the eternal guardian of tomorrow. The 9th chapter of Athena's guardianship opened in a world shaped by both wonder and uncertainty. Athena walked within the thoughts of mortals, watching them balance hope with the weight of responsibility. She knew that every new step forward carried the seeds of harmony or of discord, depending on choice. Her presence was not to command, but to guide, reminding humanity of values that outlast fleeting ambitions. Athena whispered in the hearts of visionaries who dared to imagine a world built on justice and truth. She strengthened the resolve of those who sought fairness in courts, assemblies, and among common gatherings. She was present when a leader set aside pride to listen, allowing wisdom to guide instead of vanity. Her guardianship showed that strength came not from domination, but from compassion, joined with foresight. In quiet villages, she inspired simple acts of kindness that carried ripples far beyond what eyes could see. In vast cities, she urged balance between progress and humanity, so prosperity would not harden into greed. Athena's wisdom reminded builders that beauty lay not only in stone, but in the lives supported by it. She guided poets and artists to craft works that lifted souls and reminded all of shared purpose. Even in times of conflict, her voice urged dialogue, where words could heal instead of divide. She whispered to leaders that every throne rested upon trust, and trust demanded humility, not arrogance. Mortals who listened felt her light, and in their choices, the future took its gentler shape. Athena saw that true guardianship was not to shield from hardship, but to inspire courage within it. She believed resilience grew not by avoiding trials, but by walking through them with wisdom intact. Her eternal light showed mortals that unity was forged not by sameness, but by respect for difference. She guided communities to see diversity as strength, each voice adding harmony to the greater whole. Athena's touch could be felt in schools where children asked questions that stretched the mind to new horizons. She was present in libraries where knowledge was preserved not for power, but for collective growth. Her guardianship reminded humanity that wisdom was not hoarded, but shared to nurture all alike. She watched as mortals struggled, stumbled, and rose, their strength renewed by lessons carried forward. Athena's counsel was a reminder that every misstep could be transformed into a step toward light. She whispered gently, "Do not fear mistakes, for they are teachers dressed in shadows of experience." Her words helped mortals to trust the journey, to embrace patience, and to walk with steady hearts. She guided them to honor the earth, to respect waters, forests, skies, and the balance of life. Athena reminded them that guardianship was not only divine, it was a mortal duty too. Each act of care for one another became a reflection of her eternal flame of wisdom. She was honored not through temples alone, but in every choice made with compassion and clarity. Athena's guardianship was not bound by time. It grew stronger as humanity reached toward its ideals. She whispered into silence, "What you build today will echo across generations. Choose balance, choose truth." Her presence was felt in the pause before decisions, the stillness where conscience shaped direction. Athena's guidance endured not in grand gestures alone, but in the quiet, steady rhythm of daily acts. She remained eternal, watching not with judgment, but with love, urging mortals toward harmony with themselves. Her voice carried through ages, soft yet unbroken, calling mortals always back to wisdom's path. And so, in every heart willing to listen, Athena still walked, the eternal guardian of balance. Athena's guardianship entered a new chapter as humanity faced horizons filled with both promise and uncertainty. She walked among the dreams of mortals, guiding their visions toward harmony rather than restless ambition. Her voice whispered softly that greatness was measured not by conquest, but by compassion carried into action. In every hall of learning, her presence lingered as students sought truth beyond the limits of tradition. Athena inspired curiosity not as rebellion, but as a path to deeper understanding and shared discovery. She reminded seekers that knowledge bloomed brightest when tempered with humility and respect for its power. Her wisdom lived in libraries where ancient words met new ideas, bridging centuries with gentle continuity. She urged readers to see not only what was written, but what it meant for their lives. In the workshops of inventors, her presence shaped creations meant to heal and uplift, not to harm. She whispered balance into their designs, reminding them that innovation without conscience was an empty triumph. Athena guided builders to lay foundations that honored both nature and community in equal measure. She taught that stone and wood carried meaning only when they sheltered harmony and nurtured life. Her influence was clear in laws forged with fairness, where the justice grew stronger than personal desire. She urged leaders to remember that true power lay not in command, but in earned trust. Her guardianship stood as a mirror, reflecting what mortals might achieve when guided by wisdom. Athena inspired poets to weave verses that reminded people of beauty found in simple truths. She touched the hearts of artists who painted visions of unity, hope, and shared destiny. Her voice echoed in music that lifted spirits, binding communities together in unseen threads of harmony. Even in silence, her presence lingered in the pause before choices, urging clarity before action. Athena's light did not blind, but illuminated, allowing mortals to see paths once hidden. She was there when a healer chose patience, when a teacher offered kindness, when a friend forgave. Every act of compassion became a small temple, honoring her wisdom more than stone ever could. She showed mortals that divinity was not distant, but alive in the ways they treated each other. Her eternal guardianship was a reminder that the sacred dwelt not only above, but within. Athena's whispers carried across oceans, deserts, and skies, reminding all of balance in every place. She urged humanity to listen to the rhythm of nature, to honor the cycles of life. She showed that harmony with Earth was as essential as harmony within their own hearts. Athena reminded mortals that progress could only last if it grew alongside care for the planet. Her counsel guided farmers who nurtured the soil, guardians who protected forests, and sailors who respected seas. Her presence was in every effort to preserve, to sustain, and to cherish what was fragile. Athena taught that wisdom was not stagnant, but grew as mortals learned to adapt with grace. She urged them never to see change as threat, but as opportunity to shape brighter futures. Her guardianship was not to impose fate, but to help mortals see the strength of choice. She reminded them that destiny was not written, but shaped by hands joined in compassion and resolve. In every age, Athena's presence became a guiding star, steady and eternal above mortal doubts. Her light was not a force that bound, but a beacon that freed mortals to see clearly. She believed that with wisdom, humanity could rise above fear, beyond division, into unity of spirit. And so, Athena walked quietly, unseen but ever near, the guardian of balance and eternal truth. Her voice still lingers, even now calling, choose compassion, honor wisdom, and build a future of light. The story of Athena, eternal guardian, does not close, for her light is woven into all that endures. She is not a goddess of endings, but of continuance, guiding mortals as they shape new beginnings. Her presence remains steady, like a star, unseen in daylight, yet constant in the heavens above. Every act of fairness, every word of truth, every choice of kindness reflects her enduring influence. Athena's legacy is not bound by temples or rituals, but by the spirit of balance within humanity. She reminds mortals that wisdom is not a possession, but a path to be walked each day. Her guardianship is eternal because it lives in the choices that create harmony rather than discord. Athena teaches that strength without compassion falters, but wisdom with care builds bridges across divisions. She whispers into the silence of hearts, urging patience when anger rises and courage when fear lingers. Her eternal voice reminds mortals to see beyond themselves, to recognize their bond with all life. Athena remains present in every dawn, where the world is offered a chance to begin anew. She guides humanity to cherish the earth, to honor its cycles, and to walk gently upon it. Her guardianship is felt when leaders place justice above pride and service above ambition. It is seen when communities unite not through sameness, but through respect for their differences. She is honored not by grand monuments, but by lives lived with dignity, honesty, and compassion. Athena's flame burns in classrooms where teachers inspire, in homes where kindness is nurtured, in voices that heal. She is present when knowledge becomes a tool for progress, not a weapon for domination. Her eternal wisdom reminds mortals that true greatness is measured by the harmony they preserve. Athena's guardianship shows that humanity's future is not carved in stone, but shaped by conscious choices. She teaches that every moment carries the chance to build, to restore, and to bring light. Her story is not one of battles won, but of wisdom carried forward across countless generations. Athena's presence is quiet, yet unshakable, like the roots of an ancient tree beneath shifting winds. She stands as a mirror, reflecting the highest potential within every mortal heart willing to listen. Her eternal light will guide humanity so long as they seek balance, truth, and compassion. She is not a relic of the past, but a companion walking gently beside mortals into tomorrow. Athena's guardianship is a covenant, to remember that progress without care is fragile and hollow. Her gift is not protection from struggle, but the strength to rise from it with wisdom intact. She whispers, "Choose compassion when it is hardest, truth when it is costly, balance when it is rare." Her voice does not fade with time, for it is carried in every heart that seeks the greater good. Even in silence, her presence lingers, urging humanity to honor what is just, noble, and true. The story of Athena continues not in myths, but in the daily acts of mortals guided by wisdom. She endures not because she commands, but because she inspires the noblest within human spirit. Athena's guardianship is eternal, because humanity still dreams of harmony, still seeks the path of light. Her tale is a reminder that wisdom is not distant, but present, waiting to be chosen. So long as mortals walk the earth, Athena's voice will echo. Seek truth, honor balance, embrace compassion. And as long as her whisper is heard, the eternal guardian will walk beside them, timeless and true.